And welcome to the Dave K Show. I'm David K. Gyro, and I have with me my lovely host, Miss Datha Bure.
Hey guys.
Hey, and thanks everybody for joining us today, this beautiful Saturday afternoon here in New Roads, Louisiana. We always like to promote New Roads, Louisiana and Point Capee, saying that we are broadcasting off the beautiful banks of Falls River in beautiful New Roads and Point Capee Parish, and invite anybody that has a chance, to come out here and enjoy the scenery, right, Datha?
Absolutely.
Yes, we have a beautiful river out here. We have a lot of great people, a lot of good food. And next time you're in the area, in the Baton Rouge area, Opelousas area, come join us and have a good time in Point Capee Parish. We'd love to have you out here. All right, without further ado, I got Datha over here with me. I'm so glad to have you for our second show today.
Hey guys.
Yes.
Yep. Second numero dos.
Yes, and that was a great show we had, right, with
That was.
Special Agent Spillman.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yes, that was very good.
Very
And
informational.
yes, and so we're going to kind of segue a little bit into that. I think we were talking about earlier about some safety tips for flooding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The people that don't live here in South Louisiana are really along the Mississippi River, the whole Mississippi River Valley and everything. So they might not know what we're experiencing, even as far as what is Missouri, Arkansas. They're having flooding problems. And all that stuff's got to come out where?
Right here.
Exactly. New Orleans, Louisiana,
Yeah.
just south of us. So a lot of people have flooded, and a lot of people are like some levees are breaching, we heard, right?
Yep.
And so we pray that doesn't happen to us here in the Baton Rouge area. But I think what we want to do is we want to go ahead and be ready if something happens, right?
Right. Have a flood plan instead of a game plan. A flood plan.
Thank you. That's good. I like the way you put that. So before we do that, let's put a plug in for two of our
people. We
people.
got PointCapeeReporter.com. That is our media hub, informational and very good to check out. Y'all need to look it up. PointCapeeReporter.com, and we also have the great Point Capee banner that you
Hold
can
that
pick.
up for 'em. Yes.
This is it, y'all. It's good stuff. You can pick this up at your local grocer. A lot of y'all know about that. I think they're $1 plus tax.
Right. And I think
it was
I see somebody
$1.04.
familiar on the front page.
Oh
Who's
yeah,
that?
y'all
Is
look.
that, is that
It's
Datha?
got us. It's
Yes.
got all us gyro. Well, I'm not a gyro, but But check it out. Y'all
Yes.
really like that. Some
Yep.
good stuff on there. Both of them are very informational.
Absolutely, very much so.
One's paper, one's electric.
Yes, and we're all doing the same thing. We're trying to get the news out to all the people out here, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Definitely. All right, so I can kind of go over maybe a few little things that we've got planned at my house that I've done years ago. And, what they say about like having a spare tire, it's better to need it. I mean, have it and not need it. than
Exactly.
Need it and not have it, right?
Right.
So that spare tire in your trunk might be sitting there for 25 years before you need it.
Right.
But when you need it, it's there.
Right.
So same thing goes for preparedness. And we have a big community in Point Capee Parish, a big preparedness community. We have actually several community organizations that get together on a regular basis, and they go over, hey, look, know your neighbor, know the people that you're living next to. Find out ways that we can help each other out in a bind.
Right.
Because that's the worst place that you want to start meeting new people is whenever
When
it hits the fan.
disaster happens.
Yes.
Which would probably be me because I don't know my neighbors.
Right. Sometimes that's a good thing, though.
Yeah.
So if you live in a closely tight knit area, I think it is good to at least know some of your people, some of your neighbors.
Yeah, because if you need to borrow a boat,
yeah,
you don't want to just
exactly.
be a stranger. Oh, by the way, I live a house away from you.
Right. And how many people can that boat fit?
Right.
So
you don't know me.
Right.
Remember? I drive by every day. I'd never say hey.
Right. So, and of course, pets too is another thing too. So our pets are like our family too.
Right.
And we want to make sure that they're taken care of and they're safe. And
hopefully,
everything.
we'd have a 24-hour notice before disaster hits, or else our pets are in trouble because
Yes.
most of us are working.
True. Unless you have goldfish. or
Unless you have goldfish. Even
or turtles,
then.
right.
Well,
a lot of kids have turtles these days.
Bye. This is a big toilet flush for you.
It really is. Yes.
Yeah.
And so what we have is we have some storable food at the house. We have 70 gallons of water in an undisclosed location.
Undisclosed.
Undisclosed,
It's
yes,
so undercover. I like that.
And I just gave myself away because I know the people watching that know where that water is. But but anyway.
It's not drinkable.
Right.
Ignore that.
But you can wash yourself with it, and you can do all kind of other stuff too. So
of course, if the levee busts, you're gonna have all the water you can need, and it's fresh.
that is the truth.
Yeah, it's kind of muddy, but it's fresh.
Right. So in that case, get you one of those little water purifier things, or those little sipping straws.
There you go.
That sounds
Ew.
good. It is really cool because Timmy wants to test his survival skills. You know what he's fixing to do? He's fixing to take a 2-day trek. We call it a trek from our house in New Roads all the way around Falls River,
Oh.
all the way back to our house, and he's going to do it on foot.
Oh.
And he's going to have a backpack and put all his stuff and everything. and it's 24 miles.
Oh wow.
Yes, and so he has a little one-man tent, and we got some friends' house that are halfway along the way that he's gonna camp out in the yard one night.
They're not gonna give him food or anything, right?
No, they can't.
Because then you wouldn't be really roughing
Yes,
it if
that's
your
right.
friends are bringing you pork chops for supper.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. Unless you kill your own pig
Well,
and
yeah.
you make your own pork chops.
We don't kill no pigs. We just talk to wildlife and fisheries. We can't do that.
Right, that's true. We love bacon though. We love hog-head cheese. We love crackling. Come on now.
Oh,
Yes.
cracklings do sound pretty good right about now.
Yes. So, and if I told Timmy, don't go to Cracker Barrel, go buy you a Coke or anything. Rest over there and then pick up and take off. Where
Well,
you left
yeah.
off. So he's gonna test his survival skills, and I want to go with him. He's gonna do the first round. I want to go with him on the second round.
Is he gonna drink out of Falls River? Because if that's the case, he may need to start boiling.
Well, what he's gonna do is, I'm glad you mentioned that, because remember the threes, the 3 3s.
Yeah.
What are the 3 3s?
The three is okay. It's,
What's the first one's 3
one?
hours.
One okay. It's you can live without water for 8 days. No, for 3
Three-
days.
all threes.
3 days.
Yes.
You can live without food for 3 weeks. Is
Yes,
what you
that's
said?
correct.
Now the other one is
And
3
shelter,
hours.
shelter.
Shelter for 3 hours.
And that's
now
that's
to me,
extreme.
I could live without shelter.
Well, that's extreme conditions.
I got you.
If we talk about cyclones and
What
hurricanes.
if all of
tsunamis,
it's in 3 minutes? What if the 3 threes are actually 3 minutes or 3 hours and not really 3 days and 3 weeks?
Well, then we would have to step our
we would
game
be in
up.
trouble.
We'd have to step our game
We'd
up.
have to. Yep.
We'd be in a bind.
That's right.
You'd be in a bind.
You ain't gonna have a watch to count anyway, so.
Right, exactly. Right.
Yeah, fun stuff.
What's that, Tim? Okay, yeah, he's telling me to keep my hands out of your way.
Keep your hands out of my way, Dave.
Right. So he's going to do that. He's going to make the trek, and he will be armed, and he will have a cell phone that he's going to cut off, and he wants to mimic, real life conditions as much as possible.
No, that'll be cool. I like that.
I want to ask you this. You told me that you and Tim went and did like a little hiking thing in St. Francisville.
Yeah, the one that we did that was 6 miles, and we thought it was like 2 miles.
Right. But you said there
So-
was a hard one and an easy one.
Oh, you're talking about Tunica. Yeah, there's
Tunica, right.
primitive, and then there's a regular one. Primitive is fun.
Okay.
I love it. But it don't give you a map. You don't have these little signal things. It's like little flags on the trees. There's no path really cut out to follow.
Okay.
You just kind of rough it.
Right.
Yeah. It's
So
fun.
how do you know to get where you're going or where you're
I mean,
going?
there's a little path, but it's not like graveled path. It's not like an excessively great path.
Right.
But yeah.
So do you make like a U-turn and come back to where you started?
You do. You start back where there's a part you veer off that starts the primitive, and then you circle right back, and you come almost to that same spot.
Awesome. That is really cool. How long does that take about? I mean, I know it depends, but I mean.
I think it took us maybe 2 hours, if
Okay.
that.
So you really don't have to really prepare too much for that.
No,
So,
no. The best one is the one by the prison in West Feliciana. That's the one that we did not realize is a
Wow, okay.
bike trail. And we go in this with Marley thinking this is going to be this little small trail to travel. You
Right.
know, it's going to be like 2 miles. It's going to be easy breezy. You know, we didn't come with water. We had water, 1 bottle.
Right.
We didn't go with food. We weren't thinking because we were just, and at any point we could have stopped. But me and him,
Mhm.
we were those go do it, see how far we can get with this.
Right.
So we were going and we hit mile 1.5. Yeah, we're doing really good. And the dog's deathly afraid of bridges. So we had to carry her across every bridge. And
Really?
y'all, this trail, every single thing we walked on was a bridge nearby. So he's with dog half the time. And she's 50
Wow.
pounds. And she did
Jeez.
not. Now, she loves Tim to the ends of the earth and back. But him picking her up and crossing her over a bridge, not her forte.
Jeez, wow. So what time of day was this about when y'all started?
I think we started like 10, maybe
10 o'clock,
9:30.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we got through about 12.
Okay.
Ended up being 6.5 miles.
Jeez, that's a lot.
It was
Wow.
fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So
No,
it's a
not
bike
so for
trail, you
Marley.
said, right?
Yeah.
So the bike trail, is it like asphalt or
No,
just like
it's dirt, mud. It's bumps. It's just it's insane.
and that's a bike trail? with
Yeah,
all
and
the
it's not
bumps,
like
everything?
hilly or anything. Like you're not gonna go
Right.
up. Like Tunica's got a lot of hills, the
Right.
steep hills.
Right.
This not so many. It's more or less just following the bike trail, but it's fun.
That
If
is
you want to
awesome.
get out there and have fun with
Yeah,
that.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend to people that go out there to prepare for? It's relatively a short trip.
Well, yeah, if you're going to do anything like that, bring your backpack. You need at least 2 or 3 bottles of water. If people can't, find their way back, they may need about a 12-pack of water because you're going to get lost. You're going to need water.
Well, would like your phone GPS work if you use
I
it?
don't know. I didn't try it. Tunica, I don't think the phone works.
Okay,
Tunica
really?
has yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, it's kind of weird, but
That's kind of the fun part, though. I mean,
it's rustic. You're really out.
Right.
Really putting yourself.
can you
out
go
there.
camping overnight in that area or do anything?
You can, but you have to have a special permit, I think, to do the camping thing in Tunica. I'm not
Okay.
sure about West Feliciana.
How'd y'all find out about it?
About Tunica?
Yeah.
He's been there before, so he knew that prior to, but in the
Right.
other one he knew about that too. I mean, he used to hike all the time. So.
Right. Right. So
It's all new to me. I didn't start doing this till I started dating
So did you
him.
like it? You enjoyed it?
I love it.
Right.
I know. I mean, I'm not a bug person or anything. Thank God, nothing's ever jumped on me. I've seen a
Right.
few snakes. The dog walked on two at the Port Hudson
Oh.
Trail. Yeah, she didn't even phase her.
Were like poisonous snakes or just like
One was
it's
a
like,
cottonmouth,
wow,
but they
man.
were. It was cold, so it was still a little out of the,
Right.
out of his right state of mind. She walked right
Right.
on it.
That's amazing.
So a cottonmouth, a
Wow.
little green snake, and that was Port Hudson. We like Port Hudson, and then which y'all is really pretty out there, really pretty.
It is beautiful out there. It is.
Yeah, and then the West Feliciana, I think it was a black runner. She went after that one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it freaked her out, but
Oh, wow.
we always take Marley. We
Right.
hadn't taken her to Tunica yet. I think that West Feliciana was a good trial run for her to see if she could handle it.
Mhm.
The good thing about Tunica is there's hardly any bridges. So
Right.
we
for the
did,
dog.
but it's a long and it's a lot of heels. And if she's
Yeah.
not into it, then it's kind of hard because
Right.
you don't want to carry her.
So how do you give the dogs water on the way?
I usually cup it in my mouth, my hand. She
Right.
just licks it out.
Right.
They do make these things though that you can put. It's like a little cup at the end of the water bottle.
Mhm.
I'm gonna look into getting that, or just bring bowls. You're
Sure,
gonna have
yeah.
a backpack. You're gonna
Right.
have snacks.
Sure.
You know, bring you some almonds, some cashew nuts,
Right.
corn.
Yes.
You know,
And the other thing is, in
Islands
case,
of
like in your
corns.
case, like if you do get lost or you get delayed, you might need something to keep you like something to eat or something to,
Yeah.
to keep you. You know.
yeah, you need something good.
Don't
because-
plan it on it being just a little short trail.
Well, no, because like we thought it was only 2 miles, and it being 6.5.
Right.
I mean, we loved every minute of it, but
Right.
yeah, it's like we should have been a little more prepared.
Right.
Now we know.
Right. So y'all plan on going back out there again?
Absolutely.
So this is the thing. So Timmy said he's gonna do his little trek, but he's got his skateboard shoes on. And so what kind of shoes do you advise?
Oh
to
well, that's a
wear?
bad question for me, because I had some good tennis shoes and I had to start using them to mow the grass. Now they're not so good, and I
Right.
don't like. I like good shoes. I'm sorry, they got to be clean.
Sure. Right. Yeah, definitely. Right.
So I went to Academy and bought these $10 shoes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they have no soles.
Get what you pay for.
It's the worst shoes ever. So I gotta go buy new shoes. But Nike walking shoes is good.
Right.
Adidas, anything
Right.
walking shoes.
Anything that's durable where the soles won't come off. or
Yeah,
whatever, like-
something that actually has a sole, so when you walk
Right.
over a tree limb, it don't actually feel like you're walking on the tree
Right,
limb.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the skateboard shoes are relatively are durable, but they wear out over a period of time. Like seems like every 3 months he's got to buy a pair of shoes again.
Yeah.
But for a 24-mile trek around Falls River,
You better get that boy some good shoes.
Yes, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so. He's gonna
Yeah,
learn.
Timmy, you get new shoes.
Yes.
Yeah, you.
Yep. And he's got everything ready to go. He's got his backpack ready. He's got all his beef jerky. He's got his food.
Beef
everything.
jerky is good. Just
Yes.
be careful on the sodium. It will make everything swell,
Ah,
especially in
see.
the heat.
Yes.
Bad, bad.
Yes. You hear that, Tim?
Yeah. He may not swell yet. He ain't old enough.
Right.
But
mean, he
people
needs his
like
love.
me, and I'm not telling my
Right.
age by no means. I started this when I was in my early 20s, and I'm still in my 20s.
Right.
Um, I swell bad when I eat that stuff. So yeah,
Yes.
it's
So
bad.
where do you swell at? Stomach?
Fingers.
Your fingers. Yes.
My fingers get it bad, bad.
Right. Kind of like eating at a Chinese place.
Yeah, sodium is so and you don't know everything has got sodium. And I
Yes, it
was
does.
looking at what
Ramen
was
noodles.
it? Oh my goodness, there was something that I bought and I wanted to eat it. I forget. It was something that had like 1,000 milligrams of sodium in it, and it's something that you wouldn't expect to have that much. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta step back. I can't
Right.
eat that.
And they put that stuff in for taste. Sugar and sodium is in everything. Vienna sausage.
Oh yeah, that's
which-
the worst.
Right. It tastes good, but it's horrible for you. And that's what everybody eats in a quote, bug out situation. Don't eat that crap. That's just nasty.
Well, you'll survive off of it.
Yes, you will.
You've
temporarily.
survived by swelling yourself up and
Right.
live off of your swollen parts.
True.
Yeah.
And so I guess the thing is, if you're gonna eat beef jerky and stuff like that, make sure you have the water to hydrate yourself.
You have to, because if you don't, it's bad. You
Right.
don't want to get all that. That salt stuff's not good for you.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true. Well, so I think that's a good idea. So Timmy's friend that goes to our church, he's interested in like mountain climbing and rock climbing, and have a place in Baton Rouge where you can actually climb the walls.
Is it air conditioned?
I think it is.
That's cheating. You have to physically
Yes.
actually feel it.
You do, yes.
Unless he falls off of it.
Is it air conditioned?
That's cheating.
Yeah, it is
It's
cheating.
cheating.
Yeah, it is cheating.
Yeah, you can't have
But
air conditioner
I
on a
agree.
mountain climb.
I agree with that.
The Lord don't provide that unless you're going on Mount
No,
Everest.
he does not.
And then it's a little too cold.
That's another thing too, right?
Just a little.
And the oxygen up there is so good.
Altitudes.
Yes,
Even the food tastes different, they say.
right. It does. They say it's like breathing through a straw when you try to breathe. Like,
Yo, I can't do that. I'd panic.
That's a death sentence.
Mount
Come on.
Everest, no,
Right.
no. Not gonna happen.
It's for the adventuresome people. Um, so the rock climbing is interesting because Timothy's interested in rock climbing. Barring the air conditioning part of it, there are different skill levels, and so they're harder and harder and harder depending on the colors that you have. So you can actually go up the colors and the skill levels. And his hands were tired and sore.
Is he planning on a really, really, really climbing a mountain, or he's just?
No, he does not. He'd have to go.
He does.
You do? Where do you want to climb a mountain at, Tim?
Oh, that's a good place to
Yes.
go. That's a good
Yes,
place to go.
he mentioned that, Colorado.
Why not Washington? What about Mount Rainier?
That's another good.
That's a volcano, Timmy. You might even actually get some action out there. Mount Rainier.
That's true.
Book it.
That's true. But the thing
I want to hike out there too.
is that, I mean, what skill level is that? Because you have to
I
start
have
off.
no idea. It's a volcano. It's got to be the highest
Right.
skill there is.
Right. Yeah, that's a whole special thing. So
Yeah.
I would climb maybe like a small mountain and then climb maybe something a little bit bigger. Work my
Well,
way up.
you got to start by crawling before you can
Yes,
start
you
by
do.
running.
Yes, you do. So go to your air-conditioned wall climbing place in Baton Rouge and you can practice.
And then when you get through with that, climb the Indian Mound, if I don't know if you can, in Livonia,
Livonia, right.
because that is as close to a
Yes.
mountain as we have.
That is one of the oldest structures in Point Coupee in the
It's
state. I
pretty.
think. Yes, it's like
It's pretty.
700 BC is when that thing was
I
made.
know. Don't go dig that up, y'all. Yeah,
No.
that is a curse waiting to happen.
And you know people want to go dig some
And
stuff
there's
up over
so
there.
many artifacts in it. You know there are. If there's
Yes.
got to be a lot of people buried
Oh
in
my
that to be that
gosh.
high.
I know.
And
right.
you know the Indian mounds in LSU, they had to stop people from walking on them because they were tearing it up. People
Right.
don't have respect.
And not to mention it's desecrating people's graves.
I
and stuff
know,
like
but
that.
they don't think like that. People don't think like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we took some pictures of the Indian Mound to put on our website for tourism, and it's very interesting. It really is. I never got a chance to read the little plaque they had out there, but
No, you pass by it too fast. But if people don't
Right.
know where it's at, if you drive a little past the dollar store right there on your right, if you're coming out of New Roads, it's right there.
Right.
It is just a big thing with trees on it. It's really cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you had never noticed, watch. It's pretty cool.
Yes. One more little tourist attraction. So let's get back to the flooding part and everything. You know, we talk about things like this about preparedness and and getting ready to bug out and all this other stuff and everything. That's all cool, but you know what? We know what it all boils down to. It's common sense.
Yeah.
You can have somebody from Washington D.C. come in representing the whole country. He's going to tell you common sense tips, like we're fixing to go over on the FEMA website right here. Right?
Yeah.
So and live your whole life of safety using common sense.
Well, I mean, the actuality of something happening, a levee breaching, which is a lot of people's mindset right now, because it's scary. You walk, you walk on the levee, you drive across the bridge every day, you see that, and I see it.
Yes.
And it's higher and higher every day, and it doesn't go anywhere. And the first thought you have is, will the levees hold?
Right.
If the levees don't hold, what happens? And it's a scary thought that nobody's really addressed a flood plan per se, because if something like that is to happen, what are we going to do?
Right.
Most people want to, like where we live at, if something was to happen between here and Port Allen, and we're pretty much sitting ducks. We're close, a
Yes.
little too close. And the thought is, and this is my mindset, and I doubt it would save my life because of the fact that if it did breach somewhere in the vicinity of where we're at, we would be consumed with water.
Yes.
But it would be to get in the attic. And I did put an axe in the attic just
Right.
just for peace
And you
of
know what people are
mind.
going to
It
say about
wouldn't
that? What are
help.
people going to say about getting in the attic?
It's stupid because it's not going to save your life. But I can't swim. I don't have a boat. I don't
What
have
about getting
life.
on your What about getting on your roof as opposed to in your attic?
Yeah, but Dave, you got to beat the current to get to the roof.
True. Yeah.
There's no way. And
Right.
anyway, I've
Right.
thought about it. It just
Right.
it's scary, especially
Right.
if your kids are home, and then you
Yes.
got and the dog. If you're at
Right.
work and the dog's because she's kettled all the time when I'm at work, because just don't trust her yet. She's still a little
Right.
puppy, so she.
Right.
Yeah, and even if she wasn't kettled, if something happens and it consumes the house, your best bet is everything in it is gone, and it's a bad thought.
you're
But
right.
unfortunately, the
Right.
reality of it is it's sitting right there, and if something happens, they need to have a plan for it,
Right.
a good plan,
Right.
something to
Yes.
put people's minds at ease.
Yes. And of
You
course,
know?
the most important things of your life is your family. That's
It
That's the
is.
most important as far as other physical things that you may have, worldly things, whatever, is your family and then your pets, of course.
Well, you can always get a boat and tie it to your front porch, I assume, but
Right.
I don't know.
What you're talking about would be in a theoretical flash flood situation where you don't have time to do anything.
Exactly.
I think reasonably speaking, I think we would have some amount of time to do something to prepare.
You would hope,
Right.
unless they didn't want to start a state of panic and let everybody know.
That's
but
true. People people go that route sometimes. You know,
Yeah.
they stop. They don't tell people
I mean,
because
look,
they don't want to panic.
look at the 2016 flood. Nobody knew that was going to happen. A
Right.
lot of people lost their everything. They had enough time to plan for it. You know,
Mhm.
enough, a few minutes to at least get your kids out before it got to that point. I mean, my
Right.
sister lost her house, 7 foot of water. So,
Jeez, wow.
and she had, I think when they left, it was getting really, really high. So,
Mhm. Right.
the thing is, flash flood. I mean, situations like that, I think you would have time to act on it. But as far as a breach goes, I don't know that you would,
True. Right.
because nobody knows.
It'd just be a disaster. That's all there is to it. You know, it should be a horrific disaster. You know, and
Catastrophic.
But yes, and so the thing you have to backtrack and try to plan like we're talking about today. We're gonna go over some stuff in a minute. You know, that you have pulled up. But it's let's start planning now before the thing happens. You know, and
Yeah.
we may not
Better
be able
safe
to.
than sorry.
Yes.
Hurricane season is upon us too. I mean, you have to
That's
think.
another thing
You
too.
know,
Yes.
there's factors right now that just don't wait for us.
Yes. Right. And hurricanes come. You could be without electricity for a week.
And we've dodged the bullet quite a few times, and we'll
Yes.
probably dodge it again. And I would pray that that happens, but
Right.
in the event it doesn't, it's best to to err on safety rather
Yes.
than
Absolutely.
screw up and not have anything.
I agree. And so once again, all the things are pretty much common sense. But you know what? We always say that common sense is not so common.
Yeah, I don't have very many
So
comments.
no, you got a lot of you got a lot of smarts. Hanging around with you, I've learned a lot of stuff. So you're a very smart person. That's why you're on the Dave K show.
Aw.
So you have pulled up the FEMA website.
I
right?
did. Is how to prepare for a flood on the FEMA. If y'all want to look it up, it's www.fema.gov. I hadn't really read it, but we'll go through it and see what's on it.
And before you do that, I want to do a little preface on FEMA and everything. So we have to take a lot of FEMA courses for my line of work and everything. We have to get certified in that. And so a lot of times, the big scheme of things for government, they always don't want you to think for yourself a lot of times. I hate to say it that way, but it's true. The FEMA website has some great tips, and you should see the things that are on here. But keep in mind, when a lot of people talk about martial law, if it ever should come into effect or whatever, and what is the government going to do if a disaster hits, and it probably will sometimes in the future, and all of these people who have not prepared, they don't have food for their kids, they don't have clothes, they don't have shelter, whatever happened, where are all of those people going to go? They not so
Canada.
who's going to take care of those people? The government, right? Yes, the government's going to take care of it. They're going to hey,
assume,
listen, they're going
yeah.
to clothe you, they're going to feed you, they're going to give you shelter.
now.
You have to come to where they tell you to go.
Right.
You don't want to be in that situation.
No.
You want to be self-sufficient.
Yeah, you don't want to have to
No. Don't depend on the government.
have your car stashed in a state high grounds and just
Right.
truck it to Canada, people.
Yes, Canada.
Hey, there's a lot of wildlife out there.
Yeah, not a bad
Yeah,
place. And
shout
they're
out.
French up there too.
Yeah.
That's where the
Oui,
French
oui.
came.
Mais amis.
Okay, so that
I'm
being said,
French. You didn't know that there,
I
David.
did not know. I love it. I love it. Yeah, gyro too. Love it. Yeah. So what do we have right here? What is this website saying right here?
This is it's basically steps on how to prepare for a flood. It's kind of funky looking background and
I know.
a
Is
cover
that-
sheet.
what kind of
Kind
water
of
is that?
depressing. It's got to be something that I would not want to swim
Oh
in.
my gosh, can you see what's in there?
There's a
there's
picture in it.
picture, yeah.
I know. I've seen that.
Oh
That's
my
pretty.
goodness.
And of all colors, it's black and white. So this is probably the flood of
Wow.
1927.
Right, no, right.
This is an altered picture, y'all. We put it. In
So
color
you
just
helped
for
me
y'all.
out because I thought the water was really that color. I'm going like, well, flood waters usually aren't fresh water anyway. There's all
No,
kind of junk in
A lot
flood
of mud
waters.
and stuff. Some of them got septic stuff too in it because they always intervene with a septic system out there. I think
Mhm.
that happened in Denham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So now you got infection and disease.
Exactly.
And
It's
everything afterwards.
ugh.
Wow.
Don't drink the water.
No. Don't do that.
No.
Don't do
So
that. Don't drink the Kool-Aid and don't drink the water.
we already in the Kool-Aid. So this part, it just pretty much tells you what, when, where, and how. What your flooding is and when it happens and
Go
where
over
it
go over the how
happens.
part. See where it says how. Go over.
How? It says flooding can occur in several ways, including the following. Rivers and lakes cannot contain excessive rain or snowmelt. Everybody.
Army Corps of Engineers, are you listening?
Excessive rain or snowmelt cannot be fully absorbed into the ground. Everybody. Waterways are blocked with debris or ice and overflow. Water containment systems break, such as levees, dams, or water or sewer
Right.
systems. See, strong winds from tropical storm. My gosh, y'all, this is all us.
Yes.
Strong storms from tropical storms and or hurricanes can cause a storm surge which would push seawater onto the land, i.e. into the river, back up to us.
Yes.
It
Yes,
says
yes.
speed and duration of flooding can vary significantly.
Mhm.
Flooding can occur slowly as water continues to fall for many days. As type of flooding is probably called flash flooding, but
Right.
and then you
Yeah.
have rapid onset floods, which occur more quickly. Then you have some rapid onset floods known as flash floods. There it is.
Yes.
Strong winds from tropical cyclones or hurricanes can push large amounts of seawater into the land, causing a storm surge, which that's what happened with Katrina.
Yes.
Um,
Right.
I'm
Yes.
just briefly going through
Yeah,
it.
that's good. Very good.
Impact to physical destruction caused by flooding depends on the speed and level of the water, which is why they never opened the Morganza spillway because it wasn't fast enough. It's got to be so many cubic feet per millions
Right.
of cubic feet per
Yes.
second.
Yes.
The duration of
62 point something million, I think they were saying.
yeah, but it says the impact is pretty much everything: flood, terrain, soil, built environments such as building roads and bridges, and then you have flood can cause fatalities, which we know that serious
Yes.
damages. Transportation routes are altered because of it. Commercial supplies would be altered because no one could get to anywhere it needs to get to. Your
Yes.
drinking water and supplies would be polluted because it's water you don't want to mess with.
Yes.
Flood waters can cause erosion to roads and everything, including levees, which is why we're so concerned.
Yes.
Even a few inches of flood water in a home can cause tens of thousands of dollars of damage,
Yes. Your
which we
sister
know.
knows that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
So I saw a graphic that the Slaughter Volunteer Fire Department put out on Facebook today, and it you see a lot of people trying to cross roads with high water, and their car winds up getting stripped away or whatever.
yeah,
So they were saying in the thing that 6 inches of water can make a person lose their balance and sweep them away.
that's what happened to that guy on Chippewa. Poor person.
Yeah, poor
They had that
thing.
fatality on Thursday.
Yeah.
No, Wednesday.
Was it Wednesday?
I can't remember. One of those
When
days.
all that rain hit us. Yeah.
Tornadoes everywhere.
Yes.
Not a single warning.
Yes, I don't know where. And they said 6 inches of water can, like I said, sweep a person walking across the water and just sweep him away, and he could probably drown.
Well, you got to think about
Um,
it. Like when you're in a swimming pool and you do that whole whirlpool thing. When we were kids, we used to do that.
Yeah.
You're making a current, and when
Right.
you go back against that current, you can't walk
It's almost
past.
impossible, right?
Exactly.
It's
So
almost
you're thinking
impossible.
how fast that water is going.
Yes.
Hence the reason why people
And
get swept
that
away.
6 inches is bad enough. Then they were saying 12 inches can sweep a small car and start moving it.
Well, yeah.
And then they're saying like 36 inches or something like that of water can actually take a SUV or like a large vehicle and actually sweep it away.
Well, the best thing to practice on that situation is if you see standing water and you know, like Acadian Thruway, it's standing
yes.
water consistently. It doesn't matter if it's a sprinkle of water.
Right.
It's gonna have water there. Don't
Right.
drive your car through it.
Yes.
Think
Go back.
logically. You really got to get somewhere that fast. You're going to try to float across in your vehicle
Jeez,
unless you're
right.
trying to get an
Common
insurance
sense.
claim.
Common sense.
It's just not worth it.
right.
It's not worth it. If
What
you
are
see
people
water,
thinking?
turn around, don't drown.
Yes, that's the thing going on right now. Turn around, don't
Yep.
drown. Yes. And once it's like seatbelts, something so simple, just do it.
Click it or ticket.
Click it or ticket. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So what else do we have up here?
Well, then it starts discussing evacuation plans. Let's see, property and protection. You got to do that. Personal protection. Risk management, flood insurance. A lot of people do not live in a flood zone like me,
So they don't get insurance.
so
for
we don't have
insurance.
flood insurance
Right.
because we're not in a flood zone. So
Right.
if something happened,
Right.
you.
Right. And the thing about flood insurance too is like we live around Falls River, and of course, Falls River goes down, and the water's way down over there. So we've flooded. We had some minor flooding in the past, or whatever, like in new roads, and we used to live in Rugon, but nothing major because it seems to me all that water would just sink into Falls River first. Before
You
it
would
filled up.
think.
Right. But there are some low-lying areas too, outside of Falls River. But as far as like major flooding, I can't see 5, 6, 7 foot of water where we are now when we have Falls River right across the street over here.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So like your house is, I'm sure,
My
extremely
house
safe.
almost flooded the other day when we were in the show doing that 2-hour show the other
Right.
day.
Right.
I come home and I almost had water in my house and the neighbor's house
Really?
because of a culvert.
Okay, culvert was
It
stopped
was
out.
bent. Somebody bent it,
So
but
how'd
it's
y'all-
fixed.
How'd y'all get it undone? Somebody else.
I can't. The parish was checking into it
Okay.
already prior to.
So
but I called.
what about the other houses around you or across the street or anything?
Nobody flood, but it come pretty close. Close enough to say, you know what, this is not good.
Right.
It's
So it was
not
lapping at
good.
your door. I mean, it was that close.
It was
I
lapping
mean,
at the neighbor's door. Yeah,
Wow.
neighbor's door was
Wow.
definitely loud. He come out. He was pretty freaked out.
I bet so. And I would think even like 1 inch of water in your house would cause damage because
Well, yeah.
your
And then
whole
I just
floor.
did my freaking floors.
you sure did.
I
You-
just.
I
I'm
remember
not doing that
I know,
again.
Right. Jeez.
That's why I went with concrete stain instead of
Yes,
carpet and
once
tile. I
again,
never
smart
thought
girl.
about that because it's not gonna happen or anything. But just because I said that.
Right. Once again,
If I would have done something that's not waterproof, you can bet it would
would
happen.
have happened. Yeah, Murphy's Law.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Data's law.
Right. Well, like I said, you're one of the smartest girls I know, so you prepare for the future. So
So then
deal.
after you do your preparations, you have your emergency notification, which evolves around flood watch, flood warning, which we're pretty familiar with, flash flood watch, flash flood warnings. The difference between flood watch and flash flood
Yeah.
watch.
yes.
Flooding in area, the flood watch is a flooding in an area that's it's possible that floods. You should have or be prepared to move to higher ground immediately upon short notice. Tune into your NOAA weather radio if you have one.
Yes. Get one of those. They're pretty cheap.
Yeah, all hazards local radio and television stations for information to monitor alert notifications. And a flash flood watch is flash flooding is possible, and you should leave or be prepared to move to higher ground upon short notice. So it's pretty much the same thing. Flood
Right.
warning: if flood is occurring or is about to occur, if advised to evacuate, do so suddenly. Flash flood warning: a flash flood is occurring or about to occur, seek higher ground immediately. So it's about the same thing. And then you have your other alerts. And then you have your evacuation notice, which we would hope they would let us know if something like that is that
Right.
bad.
Yes.
Take action now!
Yes.
Big bold letters there. Protect yourself. Protecting yourself today means having sources of information, preparing your home or workplace, developing an emergency communications plan, and knowing what to do when a flood is approaching your home or business. Taking action today can save lives and property. This is true.
Yes.
Know your flood risk. So
Yeah, and it goes on and on. Did they
It
have
does.
did they have any specific tips to help you like prepare with like items that you may need or something
we
like
go.
that?
store supplies so you can grab them quickly if you need to evacuate. Know in advance what else you will need to take. Then they give you a chart. People is number one. People
Yes.
and if safely possible, pets and animals or livestock.
Cool, livestock. My gosh.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to do.
Right.
Well, then they done moved them
I
10
mean,
times.
I would get my favorite cow, one cow that I like
Well,
the best.
as many times as they've been told to move their livestock, they should have the whole herd out
Yes,
the way.
they should. They should.
Indefinitely.
They should.
Prescriptions. Make sure you have your prescription meds because you don't
Yes,
want to
that's right.
go
If you,
without
if
that.
you have an inhaler, if you have your asthma or
your
diabetic.
your
Yes.
injections.
Like I'm a diabetic, so I
Bring
have like,
antibiotics just in case you stub your toe and you
Yes.
can't get to an
yes,
emergency room.
exactly. Yes.
You know, I think that way.
That's true, yes, you do.
Papers. I'd advise on this situation, don't bring it with you, but store it in a safe in a Ziploc bag.
Yes.
I have all my personal documentation in a Ziploc bag.
That's great.
Best place to put it.
Yes.
And then you have your personal needs such as your clothes, food, water. You know, you would think that would be ahead of your papers. I wonder
right,
why.
Right.
Because to me, eating and drinking is more important than paperwork.
Yes.
I don't need to have my
Right.
divorce papers with me to live.
right. True.
Well, anyway.
Right.
And then you need your priceless items, pictures, which you can do the same thing. Stick them in a safe in a Ziploc
Yes.
bag.
Yep, you can. You sure can.
I doubt your safe will float out of your house unless your walls get busted down. but
Right. Are safes like waterproof? They make waterproof safes?
They may, but my I don't think mine is.
Right, fireproof.
It's fireproof, but I
Right.
feel more comfortable with putting it in a Ziploc bag. After what
Right.
happened with Katrina, I started doing that.
Yes. good
Ziploc
idea.
bag safely seals it in.
Right. Good idea.
You know.
And for the priceless items, like now that we're in like technological age and everything, so back then we used to have photographs and pictures and paper pictures, which could get wet and destroyed.
Yeah.
Now everything's on hard drives. So like keep your hard drives and your computers at a safe place, and then because most people store their stuff on their computers.
Well, that would be when you get a thumb drive.
Right.
Stored on a thumb drive, put it in a
Yes.
Ziploc bag too.
Exactly.
All mine are in a thumb drive
That's a very good idea.
in the safe in
That's
a Ziploc
awesome.
bag.
You're the best.
Yeah, I know, right?
Tell you what.
Not
listen to Dayton.
really. I just I listen to all the horror stories and I'm
Right.
thinking, you know, logically, it's probably best to stick it in a Ziploc bag.
Right.
It's
Makes
cheap.
sense. It's common sense.
It's cheap, unless the house catches
Yes.
on fire and I have to go through all that plastic. But Lord forbid that happen.
Right. Yep.
But that,
so
I mean,
I have to ask you. So this is kind of a silly question. So I know myself, I can say emphatically yes. But I mean, have you accumulated like tons of stuff through the years? And I don't even know what the inventory of my house is, to be honest with you. I don't know what I have in my house.
I don't either.
I got so much stuff.
I've got
It's
a
like,
lot of
man.
inherited stuff from my grandparents. I could probably take a picture of it, but in a sense, how are you gonna ever replace that?
No, it
You
can't be
can't
replaced.
find monetary value on it because everybody's personal items are priceless
Yes,
in
they
their
are.
minds.
They are.
So
Yes, they are.
there's no
Wow.
way unless you can.
Right.
Even if you could lug it into your attic and have you a nice little safe room up there,
Right.
what if the water got in there?
True.
So you're gonna lose
True.
it. But to know
Yes.
the hindsight of all this stuff is, even if it did happen, you can always go back and say, well, that was mine, and that's, that is
Right.
what that is, and it was from back when, and it's valued at this. And the insurance companies will help you out
Right.
with that.
Yeah. They'll put a monetary value on it a lot
Yeah.
of times. Yeah. But,
Yeah.
that's just the thing. Yeah, there's so much junk, and that's why you have to prioritize, like you're doing right here. Prioritize the things that are most important. And I think personal needs to be in front of papers for sure.
Papers, I just don't get that.
Well, there is a reason that FEMA gets it. You don't get it, but FEMA gets it. Papers. Okay, show your papers, right? You need a place to go. Okay, come on.
I get that too, but to me, I'd want water and food before I
And-
want my
And
papers.
that's exactly what we're gonna do.
Because honestly, when I'm leaving that house, if there's something that is not what I'm thinking about, I want
Yes.
water. Well, my kids first of all, they got
Right.
it, and the dog, and maybe the cat. I'm still mad at him for waking
Right.
me up the other day. So
Right.
he's on the fence on that one.
Right.
He may just have to sink or swim. But I would not put papers over personal needs.
Right, I agree.
I'm sorry.
I
You
agree.
can always store your papers in a safe location if need be.
Yes, you can. I agree with that.
But
Yes, cash. A lot of times your debit cards aren't going to work. You know, it's carry a little bit of cash.
It's
but
probably good
that's
to have cash.
Easier said than done. I mean, it's hard to do.
you don't think about that when you're in a situation where
No.
you're running.
No, you don't.
You
Phones
know?
and chargers very, very important. Everybody, we can buy.
If your phones even work, usually they go
Yes.
out when emergencies happen.
That's the truth. You're not going to get any Wi-Fi. That's for sure.
No.
You're exactly right. Like I'm a ham radio operator. That's really, really cool thing. So I got my little ham radio operator, my ham radio, and we can talk to people, when things go out.
Right.
So that's really cool. Yeah, I really feel sorry for the people with disabilities. Do you know anybody that has a disabled person in their family?
Well, my grandma's disabled. She's at the nursing home.
Okay.
I don't know
Anything
what
else?
they would do.
Any younger? I know, really. Any younger people that are disabled that you know, like cerebral palsy or anything, or like stuff like that?
No, the only person I knew like that was my little brother, and he's not here. So.
Right. So yeah. And
But yeah, I mean, you
my
have
Lord,
to.
the nursing homes is a whole other thing too. I can't even imagine.
It's scary.
Let me tell you something. When I worked for Katrina, I remember they were shipping busloads upon busloads of people in the nursing homes here in New Roads, and we got on the bus to unload them, and like there may have been like 3 or 4 people dead in one row, and another person dying on this row right here. They drove all the way from New Orleans straight out of their nursing home beds.
Well, if anything, Katrina should be a
Um,
learning experience.
Yes.
People should have took heed in what happened over there and learned from it. I'm afraid
Right.
they probably didn't, but
Yes.
that would probably be what would happen here if something breached. That same scenario.
And I, like you said earlier, I think with the Katrina thing is they didn't want to cause any panic, so they
You
waited.
don't, and I understand that.
And look what happened.
And look what happened. Sometimes panic, you don't want to panic people, but it's good to let them know this is a situation, this is a plan we have. We
Mhm.
got a plan in play. If something happens,
Yes. Right.
this is how we're going to execute it. Y'all be wary, pay attention, listen to your news, look
Right.
at your social media, whatever y'all look at.
Right.
We have a plan.
Mhm.
And right now, nobody knows what a plan is because nobody said anything. And I think it would be a good idea, even if nothing happens, to say, we have a plan if something happens.
Right.
We have a hurricane plan. How many hurricanes we get?
That's true. Very few.
And when we
That's
do
right.
get them, at least we have a plan.
Right.
It's just,
That's true. I find
Plan
the
in
local
place.
the local government here is pretty good generally. Like the sheriff and the parish council and all the leaders in Point Coupee are pretty good about getting information out.
Oh, yeah.
Locally over here. So I got to give them hats off for that. Which I think we need to probably get some higher ups over here, maybe as a guest in the future, to talk about their take on how they're going to manage everything if something happens.
yeah, because, we
So-
might bypass it this year, but then we got next year. 'Cause
Yes.
It's always going to snow up north.
Right.
And will your levees be able to withstand more water for a
Right.
longer period of time?
That's what it's all about.
They seem to be doing great now,
Yes.
but we
right.
really don't know.
And we're always one day closer to the next big disaster, wherever
I
that's going to
know.
be. That
I
might be a
know.
bad way to look at things, but it's true.
We could have an earthquake tomorrow. We sit on a major fault line.
Yes, we do. Thank
It's
you.
just ancient.
Thank you so much for talking about that too, because the big fault line that runs across the Mississippi that's threatening to split the whole country in half. So
Might
yes.
be a good thing. Let them go there, us go here.
Right,
What
exactly.
side of the river do you
The
really
only problem
wanna be
is
on?
we're on the line. That's the only problem. So.
Well, but the west side is always the best side.
There you
Remember
go.
that.
Right. Right.
Always.
So if it's splitting and you got to jump on one side, jump on the west side.
Jump
right?
on the west side. We got all the good food.
Yes, we do.
How are you going to go to Baton Rouge? No, I love Baton Rouge, but I'm there every day.
No,
They have too much traffic. Let them stay on their east side of the river.
I agree. Yep.
I like my quiet
Yeah, we
town.
got Bastrons, we got Billy's, we got all kind of stuff.
We would
over here.
not starve.
No, we would not.
Would not starve.
No, I'd have crackling, have all kind of stuff in my bag.
We'd have oceanfront property. Our property value would go up over a second or something like that
Wow.
if we lived through it.
Right.
Beachfront property, baby. No.
Oh yeah, it would be.
It'd be like $1 million Oh yeah, we want that lot. That's the prettiest water we've ever seen, and that's the Mississippi. What used to
Right.
be.
I don't know if you saw the projected maps, like if the big split ever happened, Louisiana's pretty much underwater. It's gone, pretty much. You know, that's the theoretical thing that could happen, but just kind of makes you wonder. When it's your time to go, it's your time to go. I'm sorry.
Lord will take you when He's ready.
Yes.
He needs angels.
Yes, he does.
We can't question. Everybody's got an expiration date, unfortunately.
Yes,
It's
that's
just
true.
the way life is. You know?
I agree 100%.
We're like
That's
bottles
true.
of milk, just waiting to be stamped.
That's true.
Yep.
That's a very good way to put things. All right, so you know, like you remember, like whenever you're younger, well, two things. When you're in school, when you were younger, they always had the little disaster plans, like everybody could hide under your desk. Did you ever do that when you were in school?
I think I did that maybe once or
What
twice.
good
I
is that
don't know.
gonna do?
I don't know because those desks can barely support people sitting on them, much less some building falling on
Right.
top of it. I mean,
Right.
I'd never understood.
Well, it made you
the
feel
rhyme or
good
reason.
knowing that you're trying to do something. You know, let's just
Mm.
get under the desk and hope for the best.
Get under the desk and hope for the
right,
best.
exactly,
That's
right.
a good motto.
Yes. But back then, remember the radiation and the nuclear fallout thing was a big thing.
Oh no, not in my time.
So you don't remember? But I guess that was my time. So it was back in the early '80s, late '70s.
No, I
Um,
was. I'm not gonna tell you when I was born, but it
okay.
was then.
I know when you were born, but that's okay.
I missed
I don't
out
tell
on. I'm
anybody.
still in my 20s, people.
Right. But listen to what she said.
I'm in my
It's
20s.
true.
I have 20 years of wisdom. I'm
Yes.
29
That's right. It's true.
for the 5th year straight.
All right. Stop where you're head, please. So yeah, that was another thing. So we had the practice runs at school. I remember doing that, and everybody was like herded out into the PE yard, like whatever disaster. Let's all go out and meet.
If
in
it's
the
a
yard.
nuclear disaster, why are they going to put you outside?
Right.
I don't understand that.
I don't understand that either. But when the bomb hits, you could be in the building or you could be outside.
Have you seen that episode of Terminator when the nuclear bomb went off in the
Yes.
playground? That's y'all.
Yes.
There
Right.
ain't no way.
I just don't know how the skeleton was still hanging on to the fence.
I know. I never understood that either. But
It made it for some good TV for sure.
yeah, really. That's a
And-
worst case scenario.
Right.
You wouldn't live through that if you
Right.
were outside. Your better bet is in a building.
Right.
They probably
That's
had no
true.
clue.
And well, now the big thing is they're preparing for the EMP attacks, which if something explodes in the atmosphere and it shuts down all the electrical grid, and then we're all out. That's another big thing people are talking about.
When do they do that?
So, well, that's the Russians and the Chinese, I think, were threatening to put satellites in the air that can actually deploy a nuclear bomb and explode it like 200 feet over America, and like half of the whole country would be out of electricity. The electrical grid would just be fried.
And we couldn't live without electricity, really?
No, we couldn't. You have to realize how dependent you are on electricity. People would start
I-
dying.
I would say that too,
In a week.
but see, like the air conditioner situation. Everybody depends on
Right.
an air conditioner.
Right.
This girl lived in a house for 3 years with a window unit.
Right.
One window unit. It got at least, and that's minimum, 86 degrees is the coolest I could get that house.
Jeez.
And
wow,
that was
man.
3 years. And you know what? I lived through it,
Right.
and
They made it
I
work.
don't need an air conditioner. Now, my air conditioner is set to 79 on a daily
Right,
basis
right.
because it's too cold for me.
Right. So you've acclimated yourself to that, and that's great
That's
over,
what I'm
over time.
saying.
But think of say
But
say,
like medicine and stuff, I can see if it's got to be refrigerated. But there's
right.
always ways.
But think of this. Think of New York City, like in Queens, the big Section 8 housing where there's a big tower. There's a big 30-story tower of people living in apartments.
What about generators?
Generators, you need fuel for generators. You know.
What about solar generators?
That's something that people need to look into. That's
I
exactly right.
actually, I'm not.
Yeah, fuelless generator.
If I get a generator, I'm not gonna get one until I have a solar one.
Right, that's the best ones to get is
It
a solar
makes sense,
generator.
unless
Yes.
it's cloudy all day, but it'll get light somehow.
Right.
Those
yeah,
are
you
cool.
always you always have sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so the MP thing, so they've actually went to Congress and they've asked Congress what would it take to revamp our electrical grid for the country.
Yeah, this is recent.
Yes, this is like several years ago.
Oh. That's what happens when you don't have TV.
Right. And a lot of times people say ignorance is bliss, but sometimes it's good to know things. So they went to Congress, and it's going to cost like, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, $700 billion to revamp the electrical grid we could withstand an EMP attack. That is pennies on the
Why
dollar.
they didn't have that in the first place?
They refused to do it.
What?
They're one of the big electrical grids that control the southern part is in Texas of the United States, And there's another one somewhere up north.
If it makes you feel good, on every disaster movie where the end of the world occurs, the South is never in it. No, it's
That's
never
true, that's
in
true,
it.
that's true.
2012, we weren't in it.
That's true. That's right. That is true. So anyway, so those are things to consider too. No, people will not be able to listen. Remember this a while back? Food stamp cards. Remember whenever the government had a glitch several years back, and then everybody's food stamp cards stopped working? There was almost panic and
I never got privileged for one of
widespread
those.
chaos because they were trying to go get their free food, and then their
Get a
cards weren't
job.
working. Right.
I-
But multiply that times 3 weeks
Well,
with
yeah.
no food. You know. So
Um,
that's why we're going over our little tips. So I think we've gone
in
over
case
some
the
stuff.
food
so.
stamp cards go out.
Right. Right. Exactly.
But
And a lot of people are saying like, get gold and silver. Nobody's gonna.
yeah,
leave.
but what you gonna do with that? Scrape it off when you want to buy something?
Right.
That's stupid.
Right. Exactly. You want to eat gold and silver?
In
No.
in a situation where the world is affected, gold and silver ain't gonna mean a hill of beans.
No, it's not.
Not a hill
no,
of
You can
beans.
take your gold and silver and throw it in the garbage.
It is just as good as a paperweight.
Bartering is the way to go. You got something I want. I got something you
Back
want.
in the Indian days, it's called trade. Trade for
Yes.
trade.
That's exactly
I
right.
will give you a buffalo skin if you give me a chicken.
Yes, that's right.
I don't know if they did that, but yeah.
But yeah, whatever's equal value. That's right.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly
you just
right.
don't. Gold and silver, if something major happens, that's oblivious.
Right.
That's not going to be anything.
Right. That's why I never really considered investing in gold and silver because no.
Well, think about it. What's the monetary value of it now? Why is it like it is? Because it's scarce. People,
Well, supply and demand.
right. And is it really? I mean, when God made that, did He really intend for that to be that way?
Mm.
I mean,
Right.
it's precious stuff. Don't get me wrong. Diamonds are. They're beautiful. They're my best friend. If I ever got a beautiful
Right.
ring,
Hint,
I'd
hint.
stun it. But
Right.
no, I mean, if I bought one.
Right.
But I just don't see the reason for it to be chipped, scrape off of it, and use it as a monetary value.
Right.
It's just gold.
Of course, that's how they back our currency, but that's a whole other story and everything. But yeah, so supply and demand, you know. So we're gonna wrap it up pretty soon here. But look right here. So if trapped, look at this right here.
Oh, if
So,
trapped,
we
y'all.
just talked
Oh,
about
we
that.
just because we had bad stuff happen in Baton Rouge the other day
Yeah,
with somebody
okay.
in a vehicle. So if trapped, if you do not leave before the flood reaches your immediate area, which is some of us, if it's that bad, you may not be able to, and you're trapped, call 911 if possible, which your phone grids will probably go down. So
Mhm.
give your location and explain your situation.
Yeah.
In a building, go to the highest level of the building. Avoid basements and lower floors, but do not climb into a closed
Boom.
attic. Well, there goes my
There you go.
escape
That's
route.
It. Not gonna happen. Nope.
I'm done. Stick a sign, still and deliver me.
You have no excuse after this.
I
Do
can't,
not get
I
in your
can't
attic.
win for losing.
Don't get in your attic.
As you may become trapped by rising flood water.
Uh-oh, what's the next one?
Oh, good grief. Go onto your roof only if
Oh,
necessary.
it's necessary.
How are you going to get on your roof if there's a current, Dave?
That's true. I know.
You're going
right.
to get swept away, and I cannot swim. Somebody told me you put life PFDs, y'all saw this on the last show we did, personal flotation devices,
Yes.
in your attic. Also a raft, a blow-up one, that they think they sell those at Walmart or
Yeah, they
Tractor
do.
Supply.
They
So
do
you
both.
pull the plug
Yes,
and
both of them.
But you know, you need an axe or something to hack your way out. It's just plywood.
Right.
It's just plywood. Put you a water supply up there. Put you some canned food up there. Put you a raft up there. PFDs up there.
Right.
If water was going to stay that long. If not, you know.
But yeah, I'm like you. If you have an axe, if you have a way to get out, I don't see the problem with it.
It's
you know?
just plywood.
As long as everybody in the family knows where it's at and where it's located and
Yeah.
how to use it.
So if you're in a
Yes.
vehicle, if
Yeah,
flood
big one
and
here.
yeah, big time. If flood water is blocking your evacuation route, but you can turn around safely, turn around and go to a building or high ground.
So what's the saying for that?
Turn around, don't drown.
Yes.
If your vehicle is trapped in rapidly moving water, stay in the vehicle because you can get swept away. If water is rising inside the vehicle, seek refuge on the roof, which makes sense because a vehicle floats. It could be a boat.
Yes, that's correct.
If you're outdoors, move to higher ground and if necessary, climb as high as possible in a sturdy object. That would be like the tsunami that hit Sri Lanka in Christmas of
Oh,
2005 or 2004?
It was right up in that area. I do remember.
2004
that.
because Riley was 6 months old.
Yeah.
A lot of people were hanging on trees.
That
A lot of
was
people
scary.
died.
It was scary.
That
oh
was
my Lord, that
bad.
was scary. Tell you what, my kids were like freaking out. They started getting scared. I'm going like, look, this is half the way around the world. It's not over here. Just calm down.
Yeah, it was pretty scary.
Right.
I didn't like that stuff, but a lot of people died,
Oh yeah.
and I was just hanging on to stuff.
Right.
You know, that's what's gonna happen if you have rapid water. Tsunami is probably your best example.
Yes.
There's no way around it.
And it's amazing the destruction that water can do.
It
Wow.
is.
Man. It's
Well, look at
amazing.
mudslides and look at all that. I mean,
Right.
but if it's your time to go,
Yes, it is.
but
Yep, that's true.
if you are evacuated, return home only when authorized. Say, or when authorities say it's safe. Be aware of the
Well, see,
areas.
See, this right here is one of the problems that Katrina had so many people that were stranded because they told these people to go and they decided to stay.
Well, I think that if that's the case, if they make a mandatory evacuation, they should force people out.
I agree. Yep.
If you
Or
got
don't
to
exist-
tie them up and haul them off.
Yes.
If you want to stay there and die, I'm sorry, I'm not coming to scoop you up when you're crying for help.
Exactly.
You get out when you're told mandatory evacuation. If
Yes.
you know,
Yeah,
you're
because
pretty much committing
you're putting
suicide.
everybody else at risk when you do that. to
You
come
are.
back and get you. Or I think if you don't evacuate for whatever reason, we ain't coming to get you.
Yeah, I mean, it's too much.
Sorry.
You know, if you choose to stay there, that's you. If they tell you it's life or death and you have to get out, you should choose life over death. If you don't, well, it's your bad.
Definitely. Makes you wonder what's in people's minds sometimes.
They don't
People-
want to leave their belongings in their house, and I understand that.
Right.
But I'm sorry, you cannot take your property with you to heaven when you die.
That's the truth.
Just you.
Thank you. Words of wisdom.
So beware of areas where floodwaters have receded and watch out for debris, which is a big thing because sometimes electricity and all that crap you got to watch for.
Yes.
Do not attempt to drive through areas that are still flooded. If you stayed in the area or as you return, listen to official public information and get expert informed advice as soon as it becomes available. After the water has stopped, use the following considerations and precautions: inside safety and outside safety. That's pretty good stuff.
Oh, yeah, it
And
goes
then
on on.
communications and health, sanitation, care of loved ones, insurance. Your care of loved ones should be at the top.
Yes. And there's all your references and everything. Yeah, that's some very, very good tips from FEMA for
Yeah,
sure.
pretty good stuff. I like it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully people got a little bit of something out of this.
And then it gives you all your resources at the end where you can
Yes.
locate everything for floods.
Right. And once again, this is all good and everything, but common sense rules
Yeah,
the day.
common sense.
Rules the day.
You see water, don't go swim in it.
Right.
Especially water around
Wow.
here.
Remember when Jaws? Well, you were maybe too young for when Jaws came
I
out. You remember
love
that?
Jaws. I
Remember
watched
that?
every episode.
People
My
were afraid to
favorite
jump
show.
into mud puddles because they were afraid a shark was going to get them.
I had a dream one tried to eat me through a trailer, but I
Oh,
love
wow.
Jaws. Oh, I
Yes, but
love Jaws.
you love-
The Meg was good too.
Yeah, I haven't
Any
seen
kind of shark movie
Wow, I
where
hadn't
it
seen
eats
that one.
people.
Hadn't seen that
But
one.
you're gonna sit there and jump in the water with a big shark right there. Come on.
Right.
I mean, really, he's hungry. He wouldn't be snooping
True.
around you if he wasn't hungry.
Yes, true. You're right. But they did just what they were trying to do. They were trying to scare the public and entertain them by scaring them. You love a good scary movie, don't
I'm
you?
a horror
Yes, you do.
fanatic.
Yes, you
My
do.
favorite thing is to watch Halloween and Jason. Michael Myers and Jason
Yeah.
on Halloween with my kids. Some of them like it, some of them don't.
Right.
The boy is he's getting better at it. He's growing up a little bit more. But
Right.
Freddy Krueger,
Right. Oh, that's
Jason Voorhees
classics.
is my favorite.
Elm
thing.
Street. That's classics.
Elm Street. Yep.
Yeah.
Got to watch it. It's
Right.
not a good Halloween without a good Michael Myers.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And we're going to wrap it up in a second. But the film industry, a lot of times the way to break into doing video films is to do a short horror film.
Oh yeah.
And so it kind of I
Good
don't know
to
why.
scare the pants off people.
Right. Because people have been scared in so many different ways. If you can find new ways to scare people, to figure
Yeah.
it, if you're creative in that part.
No, the last Halloween movie they did though was totally bunk. They shouldn't have done it.
Which one? The Halloween
Well,
movie?
the writer died. You know that, right?
Which one was that?
I can't remember his name. Masi or Mustafa or something like that. Mustafa,
Pull it
I
up real
think.
quick. Just out of curiosity.
I think it was Mustafa. So he didn't write it because obviously he's dead. By the way, the guy that wrote Wes Craven, he died in '05, which I was a little
okay.
bummed out
Yeah,
about
Wes
that.
Craven. Right.
But
right.
the last one they did, they had a scene on there that bumped me out really, really bad because this guy.
So you hired another writer to do the last.
Yeah, and the guy, whoever did it is poor because the murder scenes and stuff is just too graphic.
Right.
It's not like Quentin Tarantino graphic, but to step on somebody's head and jelly beans pop out is just
right.
too much.
Come on. Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah, you gotta leave something to imagination.
Yeah, I mean,
Alfred Hitchcock never showed a drop of blood.
no,
It's in your mind as the best theater.
when was that? 1970s?
I'm trying to remember.
It's got to be the 70s. I want to say his name was Mustafa.
You could here's Halloween. Here we go.
Who wrote the original Halloween? Oh, they say John Carpenter.
Yeah, John Carpenter. Yeah.
Well, Mustafa must have directed it then. But anyway, he's dead, and you can tell
Huh.
that the original person that did it It's just not the same.
Click Halloween franchise Wikipedia right up there and see.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
I gotta see where Mustafa plays in. I think he wrote them. There's the directors.
Writers is the writers.
Where is Mustafa? He's on all of them. There he is. Malik Akade. That's him.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a producer. But you can tell it's not the same people that was on it before because you squish on somebody's head and jelly beans pop. It's
Come
poor
on.
taste.
Right.
And it bummed me
Wow.
out because it's
It is.
not
Come on.
it's
Yeah.
not the ones we're used to. And when you start doing stuff like that, like Stan Lee died.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, the
oh my
Avenger
gosh.
guy.
Yes. Right.
They're probably never going to make another Avenger
No.
movie like that. And if
No.
they do, they're not going to be poor tasted like that. You know,
Right.
not going to be something stupid. They're going to do something in his namesake, something that's really worthy of watching.
Right.
They'll never be as good as him.
Exactly.
But yeah, I was a little
It's
bummed
true.
out. The Halloween movie kind of messed me up.
That's the way it goes. I remember when the Dukes of Hazzard, when they remade the Dukes of Hazzard. I grew up watching Dukes of Hazzard, loved it and everything, and it was nothing like what I remember growing up. It was just totally off. And
Yeah.
once the originals pass away and are gone, you're never gonna get.
No, you'll
What you
never
had
get it
before.
back. The whole thing is just gone, and it is bad. Like Wes Craven did the best horror movies. Freddy Krueger,
Right.
Scream. I think he did Scream. He may have
Mhm.
did I Know What You Did Last Summer. I mean, good movies, you
Mhm.
know,
Right.
and that's a
Yeah.
legacy that's
Yeah.
gone because you don't have that to
Yes.
do it no
and
more.
the proof is in the pudding. They sold well at the box office. They were blockbusters. I mean, they did very, very good.
Yeah, they put
Um,
care and they put good, good quality stuff. And these movies were all dated back in the 70s, some of them in the
Right.
early 80s, and they put good quality into their films.
Right.
And that's to say a lot for something that, that was dated that far back.
Yep, for sure. Yep, the true classics. You
Yep.
know, and the movies you're talking about too are probably going to be classics one day. You know, with the original producers and directors, of course.
Oh, it already is.
So
To me, I mean,
right,
that's the best Halloween movies you can ever watch.
right, and there never will be anybody to replace them either.
Nope.
Uh,
Not if they're gonna put jelly bellies in their
right,
friggin' heads.
right. I read an article in a film and video magazine a while back. It was talking about horror movies, and it said like for some of those graphic horror movies that you find, if you look close enough, you'll always find like seams breaking on fake
Oh, yeah.
skin, or you find fake stuff all the time if you look hard enough.
But they're really good at hiding it, though.
right. If you're good at hiding it, then you got something where
Yeah.
that's realistic.
Yeah.
Sure. And so tell me about this. I'm not really a big fan of horror films, but we always say a good film is story driven. Okay, so with the horror films like Freddy Krueger and stuff, are those story driven films? We're not having just gratuitous
Yeah.
violence just to have it.
Well, no, the guy goes
So-
into people's nightmares and kills them in their nightmares. It's always teenagers, though. They're naive in their dreams, but
Right.
he gets into children's dreams. Well, it started out that he was this guy that was obsessed with kids. Of course, people like that. It's weird.
Right. Right.
And he killed a bunch of kids in his lifetime, and the parents found out, so they burned him to death in a factory, I think.
Mhm.
So that's how he became Freddy Krueger, and then at that point
Yeah,
he
'cause
can
the
jump
skin and
into their
everything.
dreams, yeah.
Right.
And he killed them in their dreams.
Wow.
There's one on Netflix. I think it's still on Netflix. Freddy versus Jason is good.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah, my kids like that one.
Wow.
That's a good one. Did you put
Mhm.
icons together like that?
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Right. It's like
I don't know why they didn't put Michael though. He needs to be on it too. 'Cause I think Michael's cool.
Right. It may do that in the future.
They should.
It's funny how films always kind of come back around to,
Well, they
the
did-
old stuff.
Yeah, Jason versus Predator. That was a good one.
Yep.
Predator's cool too.
Right. People like to see two big. Who's gonna win out of the two
I
big
know.
ones? You know.
It's fun.
That is
Fun
hilarious.
stuff. That's Halloween stuff
Yes,
though.
indeed. Halloween's
The
coming up
whole
soon.
the whole October month. That's what we do.
Right. Really. That's what y'all do. Wow.
It's my birthday too, so I like
Okay,
to
well,
I like
cool.
to enjoy that kind of stuff.
That is awesome.
Yep.
Need to come to your house one day and get some popcorn or something. Take the Dave K show to Datha's house.
Watch that film festival of Halloween.
Right. All right, that sounds great. So that's going to pretty much wrap it up, I think, for tips and tricks and everything for flooding and bugging out and being safe and being prepared.
And horror movies.
And horror movies
Just
too.
make sure you have a flood plan and a game plan.
Yes,
Both of them are very important.
yes, they are.
If you got a plan, you can escape and you can save yourself, then that's what you need to do.
Yes,
Because it may not happen, but then again, you don't know what the future holds
that's
either.
right. Just think of the spare tire analogy. You got it if you need it. If you don't need it, it's there anyway.
It's like the people that believe in God. It's best to believe there is one and find out there isn't than to not believe in one and find out there is.
Oh yes, that is so true.
Yep.
That is so true. And yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Yep.
So everybody out there, be prepared. No matter what you do, there's no excuse for not being prepared in today's age of technology. When information is readily available, so from so many different avenues, you can get your information anywhere. You know, protect your family, heads of households, protect your wife, protect your kids, and be safe out there. There's no excuse why you couldn't.
And for those who don't know, as of Thursday, I think the gates, the locks, whatever you want to call them, Organza is shut down indefinitely. They're not going to do
Yes.
it
So there you go.
until something happens and they can't fix it.
Yes.
But
So
it's indefinite now. So
wow, which means probably never. So that's more of a
wait and see.
Yes.
Hope that the levees from 1920 something work.
Right.
And if they don't, well, we'll all be swimming in the same boat
Right. That's
or
true.
sinking.
Right. All right. So sounds great. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up right here, and we hope to see everybody again next time. And this is the Dave K Show with David Gyro and
Date the Bure, y'all. Be safe.
Okay, see y'all.
Bye.